So we have some Major League Baseball news to talk about. Jameson Taillon was acquired by the New York Yankees today from the Pittsburgh Pirates. We've also got the rumor going around about Kyle Hendricks and Kris Bryant possibly to the Toronto Blue Jays. And we've got some Brad Hand free agent news. So that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications because 68% of you that watch these videos are not subscribed. Get your life together. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, leave a like on this video. Subscribe, turn on notifications, leave a like. And let's go ahead and get into this video because we've got a lot to talk about in today's video. We'll get to the Jameson Taillon trade towards the end of this video, but I want to start off with these Kris Bryant, Kyle Hendricks, Blue Jays rumors. And yes, so that's what we're going to talk about first. The Blue Jays, we've already seen them sign George Springer, and they did not end up getting Michael Brantley. So the Blue Jays have some good trade pieces here. If you look at it, they have Randall Grichuk. I don't know a team that wants to take on that contract, but they have another player in Lourdes Gurriel that could be very valuable to a team, and you would understand why. He's been great. And Randall Grichuk is a contract that most teams aren't not going to take on. He's a good player, but is he worth $15 million? No. They signed Kirby Yates in their bullpen this offseason, but one thing they still need is a starting pitcher or two. And they signed Tyler Chatwood too. But this rotation is it's pretty solid. You've got Hyun-Jin Ryu. He's going to be your number one. Nate Pearson, Cy Young potential there. Tanner Roark, he could be good. We saw that with the Nationals. Robbie Ray can be a good pitcher who could be a good number 2 or number 3 on a team. And Trent Thornton could be a bullpen arm and starter arm. Catcher's another need, and this team, they're in a good position because they don't have a lot of money on the salary cap because you figure Haddon Biggio, Vladimir Guerrero, Bo Bichette, they're all on rookie deal contracts, and that's why they're in such a good position right now. Now, Kris Bryant, his contract is pretty big, I think, but it's a contract that's it's a 1-year rental pretty much, and you can't really go too wrong with a 1-year rental. And if he's a 1-year rental and he doesn't re-sign, then that's okay because they are going to have to pay these players at some point. He's going to earn about $19 million next season. And for Kyle Hendricks, he is going to earn, I'm not really sure. Let me check. He's going to earn $14 million this year, next year. He's got a 4-year deal really for next season and then 3 other beyond. So he's got a contract, and at least in this trade, you're trading for Kyle Hendricks too, because Kyle Hendricks seems kind of like the Carlos Carrasco of this trade. And he's a player that's been very good, drafted in the 2011 draft by the Texas Rangers. They could definitely use him right now. In the 8th round, 264th overall. In 2020, 6-5, 2.88 ERA in 12 games, small sample size. But he's been very good in his career beyond that. Don't get confused by just maybe 1 year, you would think. He's 69-48 in his career with a 3.112 ERA in 175 games. And he's an eater-upper too, which is very, very good. What the Toronto Blue Jays could have used. They have a pretty decent bullpen. And he's a World Series champion, 2016. He has that kind of experience too, which is big here. And yeah, I mean, this would be a good move for the Blue Jays. He could be a very, very good number 2 for this team. And I mean, he could be a great number 2, I think. I think you could have Ryu as your number 1, Hendricks as your number 2, Pearson as your number 3, Robbie Ray as your number 4, and Tanner Roark, Tyler Chatwood as your number 5, which I think could be a very, very good rotation. And if they can that's a good rotation. I mean, the bullpen, it could still use a bit of help, if we're being honest. But, yeah. Next is Kris Bryant, and he's a 1-year rental here. Didn't have the greatest 2020 season, as we all know. 4 home runs, 11 RBIs, 206 average. This is not Kris Bryant. We all know this is not Kris Bryant. The guy that got drafted 2nd overall in the 2013 draft by the Chicago Cubs. That's not him. 6 home runs, 16 RBIs, 2 in his postseason career, 229 average. He's been a little worse in the postseason, but he's still been pretty decent in the postseason. He's had an MVP season in 2016, NL Rookie of the Year in 2015. And he's got that World Series experience. Once again, a 3-time NL All-Star in 2015, 2016, 2019. He can have some injury problems from time to time, but that's a problem. Kyle Hendricks, kind of same thing there. Overall in his MLB career, though, he 142 home runs, 414 RBIs, 280 batting average. Nothing that would say why not trade for Kris Bryant here. Now, they've got a pretty good farm system. Nate Pearson's not going to be traded here. And what is the value of a Kris Bryant? Because we know how good Kris Bryant can be. But after his 2020 season, how really good and how high is his trade value right now? If we're looking here, I mean, I think a Simon Woods Richardson has to be included in this trade, who they got in the Marcus Stroman trade. I think he has to be included, or Alex Manoah. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Jordan Groshans, Simon Woods Richardson, Alex Manoah. One of those is going to have to be in this trade. I don't think that's too much at all here. Maybe a Lourdes Gurriel. I think Lourdes Gurriel or a Simon Woods Richardson or Alex Manoah will be one of the main pieces in this trade here. We've seen the Cubs already get fleeced in the Yu Darvish trade. And I just see it. I see it to where it could happen again. You're selling low on Kris Bryant. He's at an all-time low right now. And you're trading him. That's dumb in the first place. And they both are very good players. And I think you're probably, like I said, Jordan Groshans, Simon Woods Richardson, Alex Manoah. I think if you're the Cubs, your wish list here is probably a Simon Woods Richardson, along with another prospect or two, maybe a Miguel Hirolado, who's their number 9 prospect, shortstop / second baseman, or an Otto Lopez, Leandro Jimenez, who also plays shortstop, second base. All 3 of those options play second shortstop. And you could also maybe look at a Desan Brown here, who is an outfielder, their number 16 prospect. He's far away from coming up, which is what the Cubs like to get right now. The Otto Lopez, Leonardo Jimenez, they're 2022 ETAs. So all these players that we're talking about here are mostly a ways from coming up. I mean, you figure Samuel Woods Richardson, 2022 is his estimated time, and same for Alex Manoah. So that's going to fit about like the timeline that they got from their prospects in the Yu Darvish trade, which is very good for this team. You look at it, and this is not Austin Martin. I don't think he's going in this trade either. I mean, I don't think Jordan Groshans is your biggest need here if you're the Cubs. I mean, he's a great player, don't get me wrong, but is he your real biggest need when you already have Javier Baez at that position, unless you're planning on trading Javier Baez? So I'm thinking probably a Simon Woods Richardson here, a Otto Lopez here, a Desan Brown, and maybe another pitcher, Joey Murray, why not, 2021 ETA, and Nick Frasso, a right-handed pitcher, 2023. You get 5 top 30 prospects in this Blue Jays organization. And it's not like it's a fluke, because they have a pretty good farm system. And Kris Bryant fits great on this team. He's their third baseman that they need, because Travis Shaw is in free agency. You have a infield of Bichette, Biggio, Guerrero, and Bryant. That's one of the best young outfields in the league. Now, what will it take to re-sign Bryant after you just committed to a big long-term George Springer deal? I think it's probably going to take a bunch of money. I mean, it's really going to. But they can do that. And if they're really thinking about building a super team here in Toronto, they could still possibly get another free agent. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't know what their 2021 salary luxury tax, whatever it's called, is looking like. Yeah, I mean, I think you could still possibly sign a big free agent, which you think maybe that's a JT Realmuto here, because So their 2021 payroll is going to be. Let me check. Give me a second. Okay, so for next season, they are at $102 million, which is going to give them about 84 million in space, if I'm not mistaken here. And this is all on Spotrac, but they could be wrong. I could be wrong. I don't know. But you still have 84 million there. And that means that Kris Bryant's going to take up 18 million of that. Kyle Hendricks is going to take up 14 million of that. So that's going to be at 32, and that's going to be still about 52 million left. So you could still sign a J.T. Realmuto for maybe it's 30 million bucks a year. I don't know. But for about 30 to 35 million bucks a year, you're going to have $15 million left, which could still get you a solid starter or two on the free agent market, or even a relief pitcher, which I think is more of a need here, if I'm being honest. I think that they could get a relief pitcher, maybe a Brandon Workman's an idea here that could be a pretty solid option for them. There's a lot of different options for this team, and they are in a very good spot. I think they still should try maybe to sign a real Muto, but I mean, you could still sign a Jake McGee, a Brandon Workman, a Trevor Rosenthal, maybe even a Roberto Ozuna, a Mark Melanson, a Brandon Kinsler, a Ian Kennedy. A lot of good options on the free agent market that could be very good for this Blue Jays team, and maybe you could even say that they are going to be under $15 million. I think they still need another relief pitcher here. Kirby Yates is your closer, but I think an eighth inning player would be probably useful for them. So enough of the Toronto Blue Jays stuff. That could possibly happen. I could see the Cubs moving on from Kris Bryant. I really could, because they're just dumb. Next thing we're going to talk about in today's video is Brad Hand. He's got interest from multiple teams, including the Angels, Dodgers, Mets, Jays, and Nationals. They seem to be the top 5 teams, and it looks like a decision could be coming soon, as early as this weekend, even though this week it's almost over, and we haven't heard anything about Brad Hand. But it is known that he wants to make a decision soon. So Cleveland unexpectedly not tendered him, which is very interesting. You know how Cleveland and their money situation is. They're just the cheapest team in baseball, it feels like. But that's besides the point. He's been with the Padres. He's been with Cleveland. He's been with a bunch of teams, it feels like. He was in the 2008 draft in the second round, 52nd overall by the Florida Marlins was where he was selected in 2020. Great season, 2-1 with a 2.85 ERA in 23 games and 16 saves. So he can be a very good closer for your team. In 2018, 2.75 ERA, 2-5 with a 69 games, 32 saves. 2019, 34 saves, 6-4 with a 3.30 ERA. And like I said, in 2020, 2-1 with a 2.05 ERA. Now, all of these teams could use him, but I think the most likely here, I think I'm going to rule the Dodgers off here. The Dodgers, I don't really think he fits that great on this team. I don't. I think it's really down here to the Angels or Mets. I really do. I think that the Angels or Mets are going to pull the trigger. And I think the Angels should. The Angels definitely should. He would be a great closer for this team. But honestly, I think that the Mets, something feels right with the Mets. And I think he's going to sign with the Mets. So that's my prediction. I think he'll sign with the Mets. He's a big-time free agent that could be very, very good. But, you know, I mean, who knows who will sign him. But I literally think it's going to be the Mets. Next, let's go and talk about the Jameson Taillon trade. And this is a very interesting one. I'm just, this Pirates rebuild crap. What a joke. What a daggum joke. Because this team is being a joke. Josh Bell, Joe Musgrove, Jameson Taillon have all been traded for non-top 100 prospects. And that's why your rebuild's not going straight. You don't have the greatest farm system in all of baseball. You've got O'Neal Cruz, who's very good. But who knows if he'll ever see a baseball field again after getting arrested. And you've got Mitch Keller. He's now in the major leagues. You really don't have that great of a farm system. You've got Mason Martin in that farm system too, who has a lot of potential, who maybe is your replacement for Josh Bell once he is actually up in the major leagues. You got 4 prospects. You've got 13 prospects in the last 30 days. But here's the thing. These prospects aren't the greatest prospects ever. And that's the deal here. And, I mean, my gosh, they just aren't the greatest prospects. I just don't understand what this Pirates team is doing. Like, they already have got the number 1 overall pick in the 2020 MLB draft, 2021 MLB draft, where they are expected to select Kumar Rocker, who's probably your future ace of your team here. But Jameson Taillon, let's go ahead and talk about him. He has had a ton of injury problems in his career. We all know that he has a ton of injury problems, 2 Tommy John surgeries, and yeah, overall in his career, 29 wins, 24 losses, 3.67 ERA, 82 games, and 466 innings so far in his major league career. In 2016, 5-4, 3.38 ERA, 8-7 in 2017 with a 4.44 ERA, 14-10 in 2018 with 32 games played, and 2-3 with a 4.110 ERA in 2019, and did not play at all in 2020. So he's got a lot of injury problems, and this is a risk here for the Yankees. It is, and you're not giving up the greatest prospects, let's be honest. And it was rumored that maybe the Pirates would want back Clint Frazier, which I thought was absolutely crazy if that ever happened. Which there's a whole nother video about that. I will probably put a link in the description. But anyways, they signed Corey Kluber to a 1-year, like $11 million deal. So if he's a Cy Young type pitcher in 2021, which I don't expect him to be, but if he is, then you're probably not re-signing him after the season, which is tough. But you're starting to form a pretty good rotation here. You've already got the bullpen. The bullpen's great. Your hitting is very, very good. And obviously you have some injuries with your hitting. But the main problem that I've said for the last few years with the Yankees is their starting pitching. They got Garrett Cole, who's your ace. One of the best pitchers in baseball. Not the best, but he's one of the best. Corey Kluber's a good number 3, number 4 type pitcher. You've got Jameson Taillon, who has the potential to be a number 2 starter. It's just he's got to stay healthy, like I've said. And you've got Garrett Cole's probably your number 1 here. Jameson Taillon, Corey Kluber, Debbie Garcia, Clark Schmidt. That looks to be your 5. And maybe even Jordan Montgomery, Domingo Germán, and Luis Severino at times. Luis Severino, he has potential too to be a number 2 starter. And this team is in a very good position right now. Do I think they still could use a certified number 2? Yes, I think they still could use a certified number 2 because they are making moves, and they are pretty good moves for their team. It's just, it's really not the number 2 starter. I see Jameson Taillon as more of a number 3 starter, and I see Corey Kluber as more of a number 3, number 4 starter. So I still think maybe you could sign another starting pitcher, but you're in the right direction here. And Clark Schmidt, Debbie Garcia, those young players have a lot of potential to possibly be that next pretty good player for this team. Next, let's talk about what the Pirates got back here. They got back Miguel Yaguri. I don't know how to pronounce his name. 2020 0-0 with a 1.29 ERA. I'm pretty sure that's in the major leagues, which is interesting. 3 games. It's a small sample size. I don't really know what you expect here. He's a pretty good player, I would assume. I don't know. We'll just have to see. Next is Rodney Contreras. I'm pretty sure he's at the single A level. Yeah, he's at the single A level, where he did pretty well. 12-5 with a 3.33 ERA in 2019 to 2018. 0-2 with a 3.38 ERA, but that was in a very small sample size with single A. Then an A-, 0-0 with a 1.26. Once again, a very small sample size. I'm pretty sure he was top 15 in the Yankees farm system, so he could be pretty decent for this team. Next is an infielder, Michelo Escoto. I don't really know how to pronounce his name. Yeah, he's not had much experience at all. He was in the DZL. 8 home runs, 26 RBIs, and this was in 2019, by the way. So, yeah, not the greatest probably competition, but 315 batting average. He dominated there, if we're being honest. So he could be pretty good for this team. Oh, we've also got another story to talk about that I forgot to talk about in the intro, but we've got Giants. They're interested in Eddie Rosario and Jackie Bradley. We'll go over that briefly. Next is outfielder Cannon Smith. That's the final prospect they get back in their haul back for Jameson Taillon. 2017, 5 home runs, 28 RBIs, and a 289 batting average. 2018, not the greatest season. 191 batting average, 3 home runs, 16 RBIs. But he had a really, really solid 2019 season with A in single A. 11 home runs, 74 RBIs, and a 307 batting average. That is really, really good. And these prospects have some upside for this Pirates team. I don't think they totally got robbed, but Jameson Taillon is one of the more underlooked pitchers in baseball, and he could be a very, very good pitcher for this team. And it depends. If he can stay healthy, then yeah, it's going to be a good signing. But if he can't, then it's going to look like a kind of bad signing or bad trade. But these prospects have some potential. They're not the top prospects that you're looking for to really, really spark that rebuild if you're a Pirates fan, but there's still some pretty decent prospects here. So, the Giants are interested in Eddie Rosario, Jackie Bradley Jr. You've got Mike Yastrzemski in that outfield, who's a very, very good player, and they could form a pretty good outfield. I think Eddie Rosario is more likely here. I think Jackie Bradley Jr. is definitely going to the Mets or the Astros, but these are on the Giants' wish list. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. That's really just not much to say there. Next is the Red Sox. What in the world are they doing? They can't sign any. When they do sign anybody, they continue to overpay. 1 year, $10 million for Garrett Richards. It's absolutely crazy. I continue to think that he might have a breakout season, and I continue to be wrong because it's always far from that. He is, oh my, like he was good with the Angels, but he has so much injuries. Like it is ridiculous, and he can't help that, obviously, but just so many injuries. And Garrett Richards, that's a significant overpay for a player like him. He has some potential, but he's not your ace. Pretty good. Next, Kiki Hernandez, Red Sox, or Enrique. I don't know what he wants to be called. 2 years, $14 million. This is a pretty good signing. He's going to be a utility type player. I know that a lot of people like Enrique Hernandez and think he's a really good player. He's not a great player, but he's a pretty decent player for this team. So, Red Sox, Garrett Richards, D signing. And Kiki Hernandez, Enrique Hernandez, whichever it is. B, I don't really know. Jameson Taillon is for a grade for the Yankees. I have to give it a B minus. I'm not just like, wow, this is a good move. But I'm not like, why did they do this? So it's neither of those. For the Pirates, I'm going to give it a B2. I mean, I think it's pretty good for both sides. Kris Bryant, Kyle Hendricks to the Blue Jays, I think it could definitely happen. The Cubs will probably sell low on Kris Bryant, if we're being honest. So, yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. If you made it to the end, you had to enjoy something. So, leave a like, subscribe, turn on notifications. 68% of you that watch these videos are not subscribed. Get your life together. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, leave a like on this video. Thank you for watching, and peace.